Hey everyone, it's Jason Deal here, and welcome to the Knoxville Business Show. And I'll tell you today, we are excited to have a special guest with us. We have Matt Daniels, CEO and President of Apex Bank. Matt, welcome.
Thank you, Jason.
We're excited to have you. You and I had an opportunity to meet for the first time a couple of days ago at the former Easttown slash Knoxville Center Mall under kind of some unique circumstances, which we'll get into here in a few minutes.
Sure.
But before we do that, tell everyone, our viewers, and by the way, Matt, our viewers, we have B2B people on here, we have B2C, I mean, we have consumers, we have a wide variety of viewers and listeners who listen to our podcast. So tell us a little bit about Matt Daniels.
Well, first off, thanks for having me today. I represent Apex Bank. We're a community bank that does business from Greenville to Camden, Tennessee, mostly in rural markets. We have 15 offices. And in addition to our community banking, we also have a mortgage servicing center here in Knoxville that services mortgages and owns mortgages in 50 states and Puerto Rico. So we both we have what we call our community banking sector, and then we have our national banking sector. So we're kind of a niche player. We're not as big as the banks of America out there, but we have our area, and we have about 50 team members here in Knoxville and about 200 throughout the state of Tennessee.
So Matt, you primarily do mortgage banking within the Knoxville area. I mean, is there a brick and mortar store in Knoxville?
Not yet. Our closest stores are in the Greenville area, but we are planning on coming to Knoxville in the near future. We haven't announced any dates, but we do long-term plan to have a significant presence in Knoxville. That's where I've lived for the majority of my life, and I love calling Knoxville home, and I'm always glad to get back to Knoxville. So we'd like to bank it as well.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Well, and Matt, talk to us and a little bit about why banking. Why did you not choose to be a CPA? Why did you not choose to go be a CFO for some blue chip or Fortune 500?
Well, like like a lot of people, I kind of got into banking by accident. So I went to the University of Tennessee. I was a business major, and I loved business in general. Always worked in multiple businesses growing up. I grew up in Crossville, Tennessee, down the road. Went to the University of Tennessee when I was 17, and then I started working as an intern for a guy named Jim Clayton when I was 18. And so after I graduated, I went to work at Clayton Homes and Vanderbilt Mortgage, and I got a call one day, and he had just decided to purchase his hometown bank in West Tennessee. And he heard that it was selling too cheaply, and he thought he could do better. And it was a bank that his mother stopped at every week on the way home from the cut and sew that she worked at all day to do her banking. So he sent me out there for 1 week, and it turned into 20 years. So
Wow. And you just kind of fell in love with, I guess, the
I did.
process there.
The great thing about banking, and we do both residential and commercial banking. We're primarily real estate lenders, but you get to see every type of business and learn a little bit about, no matter if it's a restaurant or if it's an auction house or what, you get to see the different business models, and that's the variety is what's always been intriguing to me. Getting to learn how different businesses operate, and you really get a different picture than a lot of other business professions.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like you're kind of in the same business as we are at JD's Realty and Auction. It's kind of like the problem-solving business. You get to learn about the business, and you get to hear from that owner about potentially what they need. They have an issue. Most people just don't walk in the bank and decide, hey, today I'm going to see if I can get a bunch of money.
Right.
No, we've got some sort of issue, problem we're working through, whether it's inventory, stock, whether it's we're looking to buy a piece of property. We got this problem. Matt, help us solve it. That's kind of what it comes down to.
Absolutely. And that's how I worked for Mr. Clayton for 10 years. I was a part of Clayton Bank and Trust, who sold a couple of years ago to First Bank. And then I became partners with Mr. Clayton, and we were partners for 10 years. So it's been a good career. I've enjoyed it.
No, that's awesome. Now, when did you transition from that into Apex?
It it's really started back in 2008, but at that
Oh
time,
wow.
well, it was called Bank of Camden. So I made the transition right before Lehman Brothers failed, which was about the worst possible time.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
100%.
take,
Yeah.
take on a new challenge, especially in the financial industry. But that's really launched us into other markets was the opportunity of some of the financial crisis that occurred, and instead of looking at the condition we were in at the time, we tried to look at it as an opportunity. And I know in your business that a lot of JD Auctions is looking at things as an opportunity instead of a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, we do, on a day-to-day basis, and I do a lot of business coaching as well, Matt, just completely outside of the auction industry. I'm an MBA guy and just kind of accidentally sort of fell into this auction industry after I retired. I don't know if you know, but I spent 20 years in the Army, retired about 5 years ago. Knew I wanted to have our own business, and really, to be very transparent, it came down to a marketing firm or a real estate and auction company. And for me, all my life I've been a problem solver. And then the same in the auction industry, kind of what I was talking with you a few minutes ago is people generally don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm just going to sell everything I've got. It just doesn't happen. Like there's something that's emotional event that happened in their life, and they need someone to what I call quarterback the whole, solution. How do we get through this problem? And we see everything from divorces to just we're in our golden years, which one of these days you and I will get to, I guess, and just downsize.
Sure.
We're in a larger home and it's time to downsize and liquidate, so to speak. So super cool, man. So are you in Greenville right now?
No, I'm in Knoxville. We have our servicing. We have two servicing offices behind downtown West.
Okay.
And so I'm our main headquarters is here in Knoxville, and and this is where we also provide services to our community banks.
Awesome. I got you. Now, if someone watching wants to get in, if they want to compare, like, we just got a mortgage recently back in last July. What's some of the steps that you would recommend, like, as kind of in the mortgage industry? For us, it was pretty easy. We've known a lender forever.
Sure.
It was just a mutual friend that we'd had forever. What would you recommend as someone
Well,
starting out?
as you know, there's a lot of options today, and there's tons of companies online that would like to give you a mortgage. But something, that right now is a terrific time to refinance, or it's a terrific time to buy a house because interest rates are so low. But it's also about doing business with someone that's going to be able to get the mortgage done and closed. And I'm familiar with people online and also local banks. Of course, I'm a big proponent of community banking. So whether you come see us, we don't actually have an office in Knoxville to provide mortgages in person because we don't have a bricks and mortar location for anything but servicing. But I would encourage people to go see their community banks. At the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to service because a lot of the mortgages, when they're originated, all end up the same place, which is typically mortgage-backed securities that are sold
Yeah.
in the secondary market, meaning your community bank can compete equally with the big names in the industry. So I would encourage you go see your community banker. They can give you a good rate and take better care of you, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like you say, it's also sense of community. Generally speaking, it could be someone who you're sitting on the church pew with.
Right.
I mean, in reality, versus the I don't know, should we say it like the Rocket Mortgage guy who you don't
Right.
even know, right? I mean,
Sure. I mean, you're and building those relationships, especially if you're in business and you own a business, building those relationships are critical, especially in troubling times when you need to call a banker that actually knows you, that knows how hard you work or how successful you've been, or how talented you are. Having those relationships are key, and I think one of the things a lot of business owners learned in the last recession was some of the big banks weren't there to support them when times got really tough. So and
Yeah.
we're seeing some of that now with the COVID-19 crisis.
Yeah, 100%. And that was kind of where I wanted to go next was, you know, I got a full transparency again. For 20 years, I got a paycheck. It didn't really
Sure.
matter what was going on in the economy. I retired as a major, and things financially were well for me. It was very secure. Now, I've always bought and sold and traded and did things of that nature. But frankly, in the business community, I didn't really live through the '08 crisis. I have seen and faced this COVID-19, and I've seen a lot of my friends that are struggling right now. We have been fortunate because we were already in front of it by selling online, as you know.
Sure.
You were able to buy a couple of things from us that we'll talk about in a minute. But how has COVID-19 kind of affected your industry with where you're at now?
Well, it's been difficult. I mean, we have, like I said earlier, 15 offices, so we had to close to keep our staff safe. We had to close the lobbies for all of those, and so we had to go appointment only. Which takes a significant amount of time, and it was inconvenient for everyone. It's difficult for our team members to serve our customers and our customers, that need service. But I'm really proud of our team. They worked a lot of extra hours to take care of people. When you can only have a couple of people in the office at one time, it's a real challenge. But our team has really been amazing. And something that was a little bit shocking, and a lot of people, I guess we've seen it before, but not to this degree. But during this downturn / pandemic, we've seen a lot of savings rates explode. I mean, we've seen people saving more money than they've ever saved. So it's kind of it's been if pandemics make us save more money, it could be a positive thing long term.
Sure, yeah. Well, and in our space, I'll tell you, we sell a lot of gold and silver, bullion, as well as collector coins with numismatic value, and those prices have been exploding.
Sure.
Even though spot price for silver kind of stays steady at 16 and some change an ounce.
I saw that in one of your auctions I was looking at online. The price of 1 ounce silver bars was significantly higher than the spot price.
Yep, 100%. And before COVID-19, we would regularly sell a 1 ounce silver bar for $19, $20, and now you can't get one for less than $24, $25. Which is a significant amount for 1 ounce of silver.
Oh yeah.
So it's crazy, and we've got a bunch of auctions online, of which, so let's talk about what the heck's been taking up my time and how, you and I had an opportunity to meet. I don't know, Matt, if you had a chance to go on our Facebook page, but at some point when you slow down, I know you're a very busy man. I actually went live on Facebook when we started selling we'll call it the orange tea. I can't call it the power tea, but the orange tea, huge. It was a very emotional event for the community, as you are probably aware.
Sure.
And I am so thankful that you got it.
Thank
I am. Because the last thing I wanted to see happen was someone in like Indiana buy it, right? It was north. And I received death threats, even though I couldn't have done anything about it, right? There's no way. I had zero control over what was going on. But for those of you who don't know, I mean, Matt, he was the winner of the 15-foot tee that he and his crew spent half a day getting that thing out of the mall, and it's been on every dang news station from Bristol to Chattanooga. If you don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've had a lot of feedback about it already, for both positive and negative. So some people, most people just want to know what's going to happen to it. and I can put that to rest. It's going to stay in Knoxville for a very long time, and we're working on plans for a new headquarters to consolidate our two offices here in Knoxville, and also a headquarters that's going to provide services to the new offices we're going to open in and around the Knoxville MSA. And so we really bought it to put it in the new headquarters as kind of a centerpiece, one of those things we're going to design the rest of the office around, because I'm a huge UT fan, UT grad. I've had a lot of suggestions for other things to do with the T from people that didn't know what our original plans were. But I had people tell me I should give it to Johnny Majors for his 85th birthday, or
Wow.
ship it to Peyton Manning for beating Tom Brady at golf.
Right.
Yeah. My favorite was put it in Nick Saban's front yard after the Vols beat him this season. Which I hope. But
yes.
It just for those that don't know, the T-Ways, we're still estimating, but it's at least 800 pounds. So
Yeah.
if you drop in someone's front yard, it's going to take a few Alabama linemen to pick it up.
100%. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. The entire team
Right.
to carry it down. Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, they were talking about it. I mean, I'm sure you listen to 99.1 Sports Talk Radio. They were talking about it yesterday morning on the show in Knoxville. And, Eric Ainge was on. And he was like, I don't know who got the tea. And that's pretty dang cool. And hopefully they don't put it outside. So I tried to call in at the end of the show. Right when I heard, I was going to tell him, hey, listen, the guy knows what he's doing with it. But they want me to call in this morning, so I may hop on this morning and give him a call and let him know.
The Teak's currently in one of our offices in Farragut, and so it will remain there until we decide its final resting place. But it's going to be displayed, and we hope long term to get some coaches and players to sign the T and really make it, something people want to see. Make
That's
it
awesome.
Piece of history.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Already a piece of history just from hanging it, Knoxville Center / Easttown Mall.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And I knew that it was going to be emotional, but I had no idea back in, we've been working this thing now since like November, October timeframe last year, when we found out, when we got a call from the mall to come out and help sell everything. And then, one of my first questions was, what are we going to do with that thing? Right? That was hanging up. I was like, how are we going to get it down? A, are we going to sell it? B, because I know the community is going to go crazy. So my last question about this, because I told you I was going to keep you 20 minutes, but I got to hear this. And keep in mind, Matt, I don't get a chance to speak to buyers very often about emotions and like how things went down, because we work with clients. But I want to know, talk me through what was going on when that tea was selling. Like, were you getting ticked off? Were you excited? Like, because, it's not like you were in front of me where you were hearing me doing live bid call. You were, I guess, sitting at home. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I have to confess, I really like auctions. So, and I've bid on some of your other auctions before, but I had set a limit in my head, and I was actually surprised. I really thought the bidding would slow down around 7,000 or 8,000. And when it kept going, I thought, well, I'm going to have to reassess this a little bit. Right. It's something I'm thinking, but I really I collect Tennessee history, Knoxville history. I like anything that has to do with Tennessee. And I thought this may be modern history, but it's still a part of Knoxville history. And it's more than just a really well-built, heavy orange tea. And I thought, for a lot of us that work here and our team members, what would be better to have as kind of a promotional item in our main lobby than, a major UT symbol. So I probably let my fanaticism for UT get the best of me. But anyway, it was fun. It was fun. I was glad when it ended.
I mean, here's the deal too. It's what I tell people in real estate and things of that nature. It's least, well, first in my live video, we were talking about while the tea was selling. Like, the auction method is really the only true market value discovery method. Like, how in the world would we ever know what that tea's worth if we hadn't had an auction, 5,000, 7,000, like you were kind of talking about, 1,000, 100. I mean, nobody really knows. So you put it on the auction block and let guys like you compete.
Sure.
But the good news is, it's worth at least 11,000 because somebody else was willing to pay 11,
Right.
right? So you just win $100 maybe more than what it's worth. I don't know, but it was
Right.
pretty neat to watch, man. It was exciting.
I really want to say thank you to you and your team because you couldn't have been easier to work with from when we got there to when we left and helping us. We knew it was heavy. We knew it was big. We didn't know, exactly how we were going to get it out, but your guys were amazing. So thanks a lot. We definitely will do some more business with your company going forward.
Well, I appreciate that, Matt. For us, it's about the experience, much like it is, I'm sure. I know this with Apex Bank because I've seen the awards that you guys have won. I've done some research on your company, and I would encourage everyone to do some research on your company. And Matt, I'm gonna let you take it home. Anything else you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
No, I just want everybody to stay safe. I have to do a promo. I've got my Apex face mask.
There you
So
go.
stay safe and go Vols.
Awesome. Hey, I'm convinced we're going to have a football season this year. So I'm excited. Our staff is excited. Matt, thank you for being on the show. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching and tuning in to the Knoxville Business Show. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful and safe day.
Thanks, Jason.